So what is up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel once again. You know I appreciate having you here. Stick around for today's video. It's all about this, my little cb125f Bambi. I did a video on things I hate, dislike and don't really get on with about this bike, so it's only fair that I did one about the things I love, like, tolerate about this little bike. So join me on this morning commute in the glorious sunshine and I shall tell you some good things about this little bike. Thank you for sticking around, really appreciate it. Right, let's get on to one of the things I like, and that is the seat. I really like the seat on this bike. It's nice and big, it's wide enough for me, it's got a lot of wiggle room, it's got enough padding, it's very comfortable for long distance, and it has masses of room on the back seat for a pillion if you so desire. But I use it to put stuff on, stack up, bungee stuff on. It's got masses of room back there and it's beautiful. It's a beautiful seat. I like that. That's a good point. Oh, touchdown with a peg. And here's another good point on days like this. Dry roads, sunshine. That's another thing I love about this bike. It's that old saying, what's better, a slow bike fast or riding a fast bike slow? Okay, this bike will only do 50, 60 mile an hour, but these country lanes are perfect for it. You can ride the bike pinned and still be within legal limits. It's great. And now I've changed the tyres, it's got a lot of grip in the dry. It's got good grip in the wet, but in the dry, when the tyres are warmed, you can really take liberties with this bike. It's so much fun. And although the suspension is pretty rubbish on rubbish roads, I put that in the hate video, but when the sun's out, it's a smooth road, it's bone dry, the tyres are warm. This bike is so much fun on the morning commute. It wakes me up. It's good to be alive. And as I said, having this pinned for most of the way is more fun than riding a big bike in second gear. So that is a massive plus point. The grin factor it gives me when I'm in the groove. What else do I like about this bike? I like the mirrors. A weird thing to like, but it's unusual that a small bike has mirrors where I can see behind me. But these ones do a great job. And you need mirrors on a 125 that are good, because a lot of things sneak up behind you because you're not on the quickest vehicle on the road. So that is a massive plus point. Another massive plus point for this bike is it's comfortable. Not just the seat, but the whole ergonomics of it. Although it's a very small bike, I'm 6'2" and 16 stone-ish, it's quite a comfortable place to be. The little triangle, the seats to bars to pegs ratio is very good for me on the commute. I find it very, very comfortable. It's a nice place to be, and that's always good on a motorcycle. I'll tell you what I also like, and that's the dashboard. Although it's lacking a rev counter, it's got all the information I need for a little 125. It's got gear indicators, the miles per hour is lovely and big, it lights up nicely at night, and it's got a fuel gauge. I like all of that. You might recognise this spot from my pictures. Right, so another thing I want to show you, I don't know if you can see it in this light, hopefully, is the colour. I absolutely love this colour. Ignore that crack, I did fall off, my fault. I've now got crash bars, you see. Learn from your mistakes, people. But the colour, I absolutely love this metallic red. I'm hoping this comes across, but it's got a lovely, lovely speckle to it. I don't even know if that's a word, but it is now. And while we're here, I want to show you the piece de resistance of this bike. Right, and the reason I bought this bike was because I think it's got a 12-litre tank, and they claim 188 miles to the gallon. That's why I've got this as a commuter. It's cheap to buy and cheap to run. I haven't reset the trip on this for the average miles per gallon. We've done nearly 2,800 miles, and I've averaged over this time, bearing in mind it's almost a 50-mile round trip when I do this, and pinned probably 70% of the time, and I'm 16 stone, so I'm not the most aerodynamic person on the planet. There we go, that's what we're averaging, 151.3 miles per gallon in the first 2,800 miles of this bike's life. And it's lived a hard life. The morning commute has not been kind to it. I've had to adjust the chain probably about 10 times. It's had 2 or 3 oil changes in that time, so yeah, I treat it okay, but on the throttle I don't treat it so kindly. And that is the best thing about this bike. Although I did slag that engine off a little bit for its lack of power and lack of oomph, the trade-off is 151 miles to the gallon. Check that out, people. So there you go. As I said back then, the main reason I bought this bike was for that fuel economy. It's actually cheaper for me to pay the monthly payments on this bike, tax it, insure it, and commute to work, all in that package, and put fuel in it, than it is to just fill up the Africa Twin and use that for the commute. So this is a money saving idea. I said it when I bought it, and that was the reason I bought it, and it hasn't let me down on that front. 151 miles to the gallon with me on it. That's insane. That's madness. Forget your electric bikes, get one of these. So I think on average I'm getting around 400 miles to a tank, maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more, but that costs me anything between £12 and £15 of fuel, depending on where I am and what I'm putting in. So that's 2 weeks commuting near enough for the sake of £12 to £15. That's insane. And it also cost me £1 to put on the insurance. It's on the back of my insurance for the other bikes. It's a multi-bike insurance, but it only costs £1 more. So you can't say fairer than that, can you? This bike is a bloody cheap bike to run and own. And on that note, I'm going to leave this video here. From myself and Bambi, the cb125f, the cheapest bike I've ever had to own, and is brilliant for the commute, even though it doesn't look that good and it's got its flaws. It's a fantastic machine for what it is. So those of you that dished out the hate, because I dished out a little bit of hate on this bike, there is a little bit of love for it as well, and it 100% definitely serves a purpose. So don't forget to leave a comment downstairs in the comment section. Remember, it is just my opinion. You can form your own and put that down there. Also, don't forget to subscribe, to like, to share, to do all those things that you need to do. Also, hit that notification bell so you guys can get the drop on these videos. I shall see you on the next one. You know I love you all. Stay safe. Fish out.
Get all your bags, get out my house. I don't want your stuff around. I never did you wrong, but you did me wrong. So go ahead, get gone. Get all your bags, get out my house. I don't want your stuff around. I never did you wrong, but you did me wrong. So go ahead and get gone.